Hey, what's happening, everyone? Cody Lefevre here, coming to you with another training update. This video is about 2 weeks old of footage, but I'm just catching up on things now, wrapping up finals week. Got a bunch of essays turned in, about 30 pages worth of research and writing, and I'm glad to just be finishing up the spring semester. Here, kicking off the summer semester, though, with another full-time schedule in college, turning this meathead into at least 90% meat, 10% actual functioning human brains. So, feels good to be a little bit nerdy. Let's not lie. It's cool to be smart sometimes. But let's not talk about school, because that shit's lame. Everybody knows that school is lame. Just kidding. I kind of enjoy it. Whatever. But I don't enjoy it as much as lifting weights. So we're just going to talk about lifting weights here. Quick tangent, Oompa Loompas never showed up. This snowstorm kicked my butt in May. Freaking over a foot of snow in May. Irritating. Whatever. We're in mud season now. Let's just talk about squatting and lifting weights and the motivation that comes from lifting weights. Because what you're seeing in this video is a bunch of squatting. It's not super heavy, not a ton of volume, but I'm gradually ramping things up. I've realized over the course of the last 2 months, really, doing this bodybuilding split, trying to squat and do box squats and flat shoes, it just messes up my recovery and prolongs it. And I would like to squat every 3 to 4 days. 4 days, really, on this bodybuilding type split since I'm in a bodybuilding phase. I'm back into the heeled shoes just because it seems to mess up my hip a little bit less. Sitting back far onto the box just makes me achy and sore a little bit longer than I would like, and I don't want to complain too much, so I'm back in the heeled shoes and things are moving much better, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. So this was a 405 pause single followed by some paused work with 315 and then dropped down to 225. Knocked that out with some half sets, and I'm building up to a high volume squatting phase. So that's what you'll see in the next coming weeks, months, just tons of squats. And after the squatting, I jumped on the leg press here, my banded leg press. This machine is great. Knocked out 2 sets of 50, and I'll be ramping that up. And all in all, volume is slowly creeping up, and I am seeing good results in my training in terms of muscular size, growth, and definition, especially my targeted muscle groups being like my biceps and my shoulders predominantly. Those are the areas I'm focusing on a lot. So the pressing did not go exactly as planned in this session the day after all that squatting. Legs were a little fatigued, should have rested a little bit longer. I wanted to get a triple. It went up as a double, took a little bit of rest, and the second attempt at a triple did not happen. So, lesson learned. I had to change game plan a little bit. I don't think I rested long enough between that first double and the second one. Woo. So the rep max attempt with 205 did not go as planned. I wanted to get a triple, just didn't work out. Changed the game plan, went with a big batch of singles at 205. Now, the squats the day before definitely had some lingering effect on my pressing. Whenever you're doing a standing pressing and your quads are cramping up or your glutes are cramping up like they do in my case, it's going to sap some strength. I was leaning back a bit too far on these, as you could see, and I was pressing the bar too far in front of me. So a couple of negatives when it comes to the bodybuilding split that I'm in right now is the lift frequency is down. So there's going to have some technique degradation there. Doing the high frequency undulating progression like I was last year. And HFUP is much like UHF from the classical traditional style GZCL framework. It's just that HFUP is spoken through the General Gains training framework that I've devised. So General Gains is, general framework from which specific goals can be accomplished. You take that general framework, you build a specific plan for yourself, and you can accomplish powerlifting, general strength training plan, or a bodybuilding focused plan. And I've done a number of these different training approaches using general gains, mostly strength, and this is the first long-term bout where I'm committing to a bodybuilding phase. And while slightly demotivated because I'm not at peak strength, it's not the goal that I'm in right now, so I just have to stay focused on that, not have training ADD, and not lose the focus on what I've set out to do here, which is a bodybuilding phase with general gains. And I'm experimenting with a few different things here, and one of them in this session, you're not seeing all of the supersets that I'm doing with side delt raises, front delt raises, but these heavier T1, T2 reps, doing singles and then a 5 rep max with half set doubles afterwards. These are supersetted with side delts, front delts, and I am seeing good progress in the size of my shoulders and in my arms, especially my biceps. This bodybuilding phase is being monitored through aesthetic progress. So it's a tougher, more qualitative thing to assess than doing a strength session, because strength is reps and weight. And as long as those are improving, then you're getting stronger. Bodybuilding is slightly different. You've got to look at the way that you look. You've got to assess your aesthetics. So I am also monitoring, though, measurements in my arms, and that's a way to have some quantitative value assessment to the bodybuilding approach. So definitely consider taking measurements if you're doing a bodybuilding style training approach and you're setting out bodybuilding goals. Measurements are an important thing to have a track of. Also with taking pictures, that's a huge thing. I almost prefer pictures than just measurements themselves because my arms haven't actually grown that much, but in terms of how they look bigger. And bodybuilding is aesthetics, how things look. And that's really what the focus should be on. So, not going to lie, a little bit of a bummer that I'm not at peak strength, but hey, that's going to come back next time I do a high frequency undulating progression with General Gains Training Framework. I've written about that in my blog. You can find that specific training plan derived from General Gains, a general training framework, and get stronger using that plan. Like I've set all-time PRs on my pause squat and my press. Now I'm doing a different plan using General Gains, getting bigger, more jacked, and really quite enjoying it, unlike the snow. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and help with the algorithms. Thank you.